Hello, good morning. Welcome to our webinar. We're going to start in just a minute or so, just letting people get in here. I see that there are some people already coming in. Welcome. We're so happy to have you here this morning. 10 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. Not really sure what time it is for you all. If you want, you can start putting into the chat maybe your first name and where you're coming in from, where you live. Happy to have you here. My name is Maria Brackett. I'm the program director of the certificate here at Divine Mercy University. I'm hoping that you can see my screen and hear me. Sister Louise Marie from Oregon, Deacon Rod from New Jersey. So happy to have you here. Patrick from Leeds. Leeds, where is that? Is that Maryland? Patrick? Maria from Media, Pennsylvania. Nice to have you here, Maria. Okay, well, we are going to get started because it's a couple minutes after the hour here. Angelo from Uganda. Wow, Angelo, so happy to have you here. As I said, my name is Maria Brackett, and I am the program director of the certificate, the Spiritual Direction Certificate here at Divine Mercy University. We're so happy to have you all here with us this morning. The purpose of this webinar is to give you information about the Spiritual Direction Certificate that we have at the university, to kind of walk you through the different parts of it, elements. A lot of this information can be found on our website. So you definitely can look there, but we just like to have this interaction and this opportunity for something live to help you all to understand the program and see if it can serve you. I will leave a time for questions at the end. So if you can just put them in the Q&A box, I will look there and answer them at the end. It's so good to have you. We are recording this webinar. This particular webinar might not be up on our YouTube channel for at least a couple of weeks, but there are other informative webinars in the DMU YouTube channel, Divine Mercy University channel. Just look under the playlist that's called Spiritual Direction Webinars, and you'll find webinars that we've produced for the program. There are webinars of this type that are informative. There are also webinars of interviews with different students and alumni of the program, and there's also webinars about different topics that have to do with spiritual direction. We really are trying to stay a part of this conversation about Catholic Christian spiritual direction, and from our little corner in the world here in Sterling, Virginia, to kind of contribute to helping put professionally and skilled and knowledgeable spiritual directors out there for the service of their brothers, sisters in their walk with the Lord. So let's go on. This is what we're going to cover: who we are, what is spiritual direction, just about our program, and time frame and tuition. Well, Divine Mercy University is a university, a graduate school that's dedicated to the study of the integral Catholic Christian view of the human person. The university was founded in 1999 by a group of lay people under the sponsorship of the Legionaries of Christ to really put forward an integration of faith with the human sciences from the core of this Catholic Christian understanding of the human person. So that's really the mission of the university, to really advance the Catholic Christian view of the human person, and allow it to speak to all different fields. The university is a graduate school for the human sciences, but this understanding of the human person, we want it to be able to reach all different places in order to help shape culture and help each person to flourish as human beings wherever they are. So the university founded the Spiritual Direction Certificate in 2019 to start beginning to work in the world of ministry, and offering some professional training for those people that contribute to, or are key players in the world of ministry. And we really thought that a good place to start would be spiritual direction, because there is such a need, and because it is such a sacred space. So the university is accredited by these different bodies for the different programs that they have. It's important for you to know that even though the Spiritual Direction Certificate is a non-degree program, the university itself is accredited and keeps up on their accreditations, and so really offers very high quality education. So what is spiritual direction? I always like to talk about this at the beginning because of the fact that there are a lot of different definitions to spiritual direction out there. I think the Catholic Christian world probably has a pretty common understanding, but the mix sometimes that can happen with psychology and counseling sometimes has blurred this, and also just the different ways that other faith traditions might live spiritual direction. So what we really are talking about it from the Catholic Christian point of view, and the program really is dedicated to forming people within the Catholic Christian view. So spiritual direction is an accompaniment. It's assisting people on their path to the Lord. Of course, it's a one-on-one meeting that we're talking about. It's the act of being there for them in service both to them and to the Lord, and a deep listening to the directee. That person that sits with you in spiritual direction that you are directing, to help them deepen in their experience of the Lord and his narrative in their lives. It really is to assist that person on their pilgrimage toward God, that they grow closer to God. It's not designed as therapy, nor even as pastoral counseling, but as a walking with someone as they walk with the Lord. A deep listening, a echoing back to them, a helping them through questions and reflections to go into their heart, which the Catechism of Catholic Church says, and sacred tradition also tells us, is a place where the Lord dwells. And it's also a formation and mission to help each Christian to see how to follow the Lord in their particular life, and the particular gift of their life. So it's for the individual. What to expect in the Spiritual Direction Certificate? Well, it consists of 6 online courses. These online courses are what we call asynchronous. That means that they are not done in real time, i.e., that is, that you're not getting on at a certain time to have a class with your instructors. These online courses are housed in a learning management system called Canvas. And Canvas, there in Canvas, as you get entrance into each course, you will find the 8 modules, the 8 weeks that make up the course. And you move through each of these 8 weeks with your cohort, respecting the due dates of assignments. They're usually weekly assignments, but you're not getting on for a class with a teacher at a certain time each week. We made it this way because it just allows for more flexibility for you all as you go through the program to be able to do the work of the program in your own time. There are 6 courses, as I mentioned, and there are also 2 residencies. 2 residencies that occur if you go through the program in the regular time, which is 2 years, once a year. These residencies are here in Sterling, Virginia. They're kind of a long weekend type of deal. They start Wednesday evening at night with a meet and greet, and they finish by lunch on Sunday. You can just grab your lunch and go, or you can sit down at the university and have your lunch. But by 2 o'clock on Sunday, if you do sit down at the university, you're on the road and ready to go. And the university is right near an international airport, Dulles. So it's very easy to get to the airport. Literally, it's 10 minutes from the university. So if it's not something like 8. So it's easy to get to and from the university, from the airport. Then another part of the SDC, the Spiritual Direction Certificate, are 60 practicum hours. And this consists of 48 hours of seeing people in spiritual direction and 12 hours of supervision. The supervision is given to you by the program in your classes by faculty of the program. So it's not like you have to look for your own supervisor. So what are the 6 courses? If you go onto our website, the Divine Mercy website, and look under the academic programs, you'll find the tab that says Spiritual Direction Certificate, and you'll see there that the descriptions, the course descriptions. Here, I'm just giving you the titles. So we move from a general understanding of spiritual direction, kind of laying the foundation of the place that it has in ministries within the church, and the place that it has for an individual in their development as a Christian and follower of Jesus, and also within the history of the church, of the Catholic Christian tradition, and how it differs from different helping ministries or professions, right? That's where we start. We like to give you a good lay of the land type of course, really, for you to understand what this ministry is and what we're speaking about. And then 200 goes into human development for spiritual direction, which really is going into how a person develops over their life, and how, from a human standpoint, and how their relationships develop. Since spiritual direction is such an interpersonal ministry, we think it's very important to look at relationships and how they develop. In 300, you start getting into the skills that are needed for spiritual direction, and that's where you have a residency in the 7th week at the end of the 300 course. So that's when you'd be coming to Sterling, Virginia. And that's where you just have a lot of training about listening and the skills to be able to sit in a spiritual direction session with someone, these basic skills. The 400 is about discernment and spiritual growth, which is such an important part of the Christian journey, learning to listen to the Lord and to know his voice, to be able to distinguish between the voice of the good shepherd and the voice of the thief. And then 500 is another skills course, where again, you come to Sterling, Virginia for a residency, but this time it's at the beginning of the course. And here you learn some advanced skills to help you to give spiritual direction. And after this residency, you start your practicum hours. You start seeing people in spiritual direction. And then 600 is advanced prayer and situations. And so this is just talking about some of the different situations that a directee might bring to spiritual direction, definitely complex situations of life that they might bring, and how to be able to listen to what might be going on, how to recognize and refer, how to help them to understand sometimes in these more complex situations where the Lord is and what he might, just what he might be doing in their lives. Of course, we don't have any crystal balls, but it's just helping the directee to hear the Lord and see the Lord. So let's talk a little bit about the residencies. As you can see here by the picture, the residencies just are a beautiful time where the cohort comes to Sterling, Virginia, and gets some in-person training. We love to have the students come to get to know them in person. It's also really important. I think the 300, the first residency, and that third class is an important one for a person to really get a sense if God is calling them to this ministry and if they've got the capacity to form those skills that would be needed. So it's a 4-day residency. It's Thursday all day, Friday all day, Saturday all day, and half a day on Sunday, and then just that evening on Wednesday evening as a meet and greet to kind of just bring you all together to begin and see each other and meet, because you've only been knowing each other online. So your faculty members are spiritual directors and therapists. Therapists, because the skills that you learn are needed for spiritual direction, many of them are the same type of skills that a therapist is trained for. So that's why we have that. And also the therapists they give that point of view of the human development and the human side, where the spiritual directors really bring the experience of what it means to be a spiritual director and really help someone. So we have a mixture of these type of people helping you and bringing you through as faculty members. And I already mentioned to you when these occur in the program. You do need to be able to come to the residencies. The residencies are an essential part of the program, and not only do you have to pass each class in order to get your certificate, but you also have to participate and pass each residency in order to qualify your certificate. So the program is a term-based program. Each term is 8 weeks long, and you only can take one course per term. Typically, a course requires 6 to 9 hours of commitment per week during that time that you're taking the course. We offer 3 courses each year. And so there's roughly a 9 to 10 week break between each term. And this allows you to maybe deepen in the readings, get some other things done in your life, because when you're in the course, if you're also, full-time something else, your schedule is pretty full. So the breaks really occur around the holidays. Here in the United States, like November and December, we don't run classes. April, and most of May, we don't run classes. So holidays and times, like Holy Week and maybe May, when the school year is wrapping up here and you've got a lot of other commitments. So that's kind of how the terms run. Term starts in August, the term starts in January, and a term starts in May. And the certificate can be completed in 2 years. That's taking 3 courses a year. So you can see it's not even a part-time studying. It's really even less than that. But the 2 years of participation and enrollment in the course really helps for a good rhythm of learning, where little by little you're assimilating the skills and the knowledge. We'd like to have that time just pass by. And, you're also on a journey with the Lord during this course. And that's one of the things that we love about the course, how it just helps the directees and training, the directors and training themselves to grow in their relationship with the Lord. We do ask you to have a spiritual director as you're going through the program, and we do ask you to have had a spiritual director in order to enter in the program. What's the cost for the program? It's $800 for each course. The program is a pay-as-you-go. So as you register for each course, you pay. There is a $25 application fee to get into the program. And then once you're in, the next time that you need to pay is when you register for a course, right? So they're $800 per course. And when you do have a residency, the residencies cost $1,100. So What does that mean? It means like in the 300 or the third course or the 500, the fifth course, you're not only paying for the 800 for the course, but you're also paying the 1,100 for the residency. And that covers lodging, materials, most meals. You're responsible for 3 of your dinners, but that's all. And of course, your travel to and from the university from your home. There is a shuttle from the hotel that we use that can pick you up at the airport and bring you back to the airport. So that you don't have to worry about that. Then if you do not finish your practicum hours by the time you finish your 6th course, we ask you to enroll in practicum, which is $50 a term, or practicum with supervision if you'd like to continue and have supervision through the program. So those are additional costs if you don't finish your practicum by the time you finish the 6th course. So how do you apply? There is on the spiritual direction website, on the university's website, there is the application right there. It's one of the tabs. So we ask you to fill out the application form, provide the 3 letters of recommendation from your spiritual director, pastor, superior, or leader of your apostolate, and also a friend, a colleague, a fellow parishioner, someone that's a peer to you. And then the third step is to participate in the group interview that we run. And that gives us an opportunity. I run that interview. It just gives me an opportunity with another faculty member to see you online, get to know you with a couple other people that are in, a couple other applicants. Gives you a good sense of what the program's about, and also helps you to get to know maybe other people that are applying to the program, see the type of people that this program attracts. So if you'd like more information about the certificate, you can always reach out to our admissions advisor. His name is Greg Shapiro. Here is his email, and here is his phone number. His phone number receives calls and text messages, so you really can get him any way you would like to. He's continually talking to applicants of the program and just answering questions about the program so that you really can get a sense of what it's all about and get as much information up front so as to make your decisions about applying and entering. We do have MOUs or partnerships with different organizations that allows for a 10% off cost per course. This 10% does not apply to residencies because, that's really a wash for us, the residencies, but they do apply to the course. We also have a 10%, besides the partnerships that are mentioned here, we also have a 10% discount for people that are full-time active in ministry, and for religious brothers and sisters, priests, deacons. We try as much as possible just to be able to give you a little break and help out in this way. So just to end here, before we go into questions, why is spiritual direction such an important ministry, and why, and this is probably why, as the university decided to get involved in it, it offers a service to others of deep listening, of giving the opportunity of another person to feel heard, seen, and walked with in their relationship with the Lord. To being there to help them to strengthen that relationship with the Lord, accompanying them in their faith, and especially, that walk of faith that at times can be difficult. We're going in the Catholic Church, we're going through the readings of Abraham in the masses and our liturgy, and we just see that what that walk of faith meant for him. It's guiding another to find the Lord in every situation of life with that firm conviction that God is always present and always at work. And it's a way that others might also find their call to be a spiritual director. You can think of yourselves, maybe the reason that you're being attracted to want to be a spiritual director is because a spiritual director has helped you so much, and you would love to be able to give that service to others. And it's also, spiritual direction is also a help for the director. And you'll see that. I know I'm a spiritual director myself, and I see that having to be there for others helps me to always be aware of growing in my relationship with the Lord and just walking with Him. And many of the graces that I've received in my own life have come through giving spiritual direction. So it's a beautiful gift. Well, I do want to go now to questions to see if there's any questions. I know that there's a lot of ins and outs to this program, a lot of moving parts. So I'm sure that you might have some questions. So if you do, just put them in the Q&A box there, and I will answer them. I'm happy to have you all here. It's always a joy to connect, even through virtually, with all of you and with people that are interested in the program. Let's just wait a second, see if any questions come up. So Barb, thank you. Does it matter whether you begin the courses in August, January, or May? No, it doesn't. Every term we offer all the courses. So it's really just allows you to kind of jump in whenever you'd like. It doesn't change your rhythm. You're never going to have a problem that we don't offer a course, right? We do allow you to take leaves of absences, up to 3 leaves of absences when you're in the program. So that means that potentially you could take off a term if you needed to. And sometimes this happens because you can't come to the residency that term, so then you can't take that class, or if you got a lot of other things on your plate, so taking a class that term just doesn't fit. So we do allow you to take 3 leaves of absences. Okay, sister, can you comment on confidentiality and the responsibility that goes along with that? Definitely. There is a responsibility, an ethical commitment to confidentiality, and we do teach that in the program. We teach you how to manage that. We like to say that spiritual directors are hidden figures, right? We love to use St. John the Baptist kind of like as a patron of spiritual directors because he prepared the way for the Lord, right? And so you are hidden figures. If you are a spiritual director, it's not that people know who you're giving spiritual direction to, because that's really a service that you're offering to the person. So that's not information for you to give out to others. So that the confidentiality around who you give spiritual direction to, and then the confidentiality of the material of the what's shared in spiritual direction that's not being shared outside. We do teach our students to use an agreement. And when they enter into a spiritual direction relationship, it's very clear for the person the confidentiality and kind of the boundaries of the relationship, as well as here in the United States, in a lot of Anglo cultures, the necessity of mandated reporting, right? So the idea that if there is some information shared in spiritual direction that could hurt other people, or where the person could be in danger of hurting themselves, the confidentiality would need to be broken. So I hope that answers your question, sister. So a question from Christine. Christine, you're asking about transfer of credits. I can always look at the things that you've seen and see if there's any way to waiver some of the courses that you take. But because of the nature of the certificate, so specific, and it's really, got a whole trajectory of learning that goes on where each course builds on the other, it's kind of very difficult to make that happen. Also, because we are dealing with a particular understanding of the human person that we really, it's a Catholic Christian understanding, but we want you to really kind of soak yourself in it to be able to understand the context and just, kind of who the human person is, who you are, and who the person is that you're sitting with. So we tend not to transfer credits, but I always can look and see what you have there. Can you comment what the class looks like? if there's papers, journaling. Okay, so the class is a mixture of different types of assignments. There are discussion posts, more in the first courses and less in the upper courses. You are asked to do papers, but those papers are reflection papers. They're not research papers, and they're not more than 1,000 words. From the first course, we do ask you to do journaling, and we give you journaling assignments, right? And that helps you. We just think that's an important part of you growing as a person and awareness of where the Lord is in your own life and what he's doing. Let's see if I answered all these. I don't know if there's anything more about the classes that you would like me to say. I answered that sufficiently with my answer. Everything is on the platform. You don't have to buy books for the course, the certificate course. You just go onto the platform. Since we are a university, everything that's been uploaded on the platform has licensed, so you can download it into your computer. And that's just allowed us, as we built the curriculum, to really put there, kind of weed through a lot of different resources and find the ones that we feel just are most pertinent and most important for you to read. And all readings are in each module are divided up between mandatory reading and optional reading, right? The optional reading are just readings that we felt like, gosh, it would be good for you to have these things, and at some point in time, read through them when you find time. But the mandatory readings are really, the part of the kind of the structure of the course. That's why they're mandatory. And our resources really are taken from the Catholic Christian tradition, the greats. We don't necessarily gear our spiritual direction course to one spirituality or another, but we really do try to go and visit all the important people in the history of spiritual direction and the spiritual life, and have them be represented in the different resources. So you definitely get Ignatian, Carmelite, Dominican, Benedictine, Franciscan. We try to expose you to all those different faith traditions, as well as some of those, stellar writers in the maybe the more universal Christian tradition. Wondering if there are any more questions. Looks like I've answered the ones that have come in. Please let me know if you'd like, if there's any other questions before we sign off here. I do thank you so much for coming on here and being with us today. It's been great to have you. And thank you for the interest in our program. I hope I was able to answer the questions that you have. I'm going to put Greg's information here again, just in case you need that. Also, on the Divine Mercy website, under the tab of Spiritual Direction Certificate, that's in the Academic Program tab, you can find my email information if you'd like to get in contact with me. As I said before, I am the director of the program here at the university, and I am myself a spiritual director. So giving spiritual direction and kind of being in this world of training spiritual directions is really is a great privilege and a joy for me. Well, I think we don't have any more questions from what I can see. I do thank you for coming, and have a good day. God bless you all. Enjoy your weekend and your holiday if you're from the United States. God bless you.